multi-level marketing. And I won't say I didn't benefit, I didn't um, grow, but I didn't quite get the benefits that I wanted. Sorry, I'm trying to find the record button. Host, please, if you can just help me record, I would like to watch this after. So,
It's being recorded already.
okay, thank you, boss. So, when I saw it, I there was a light that was shone for me. You know, I tell people when you see when light comes, that's knowledge. When light comes, you have a knowing inside of you that something is going to work out. Okay, and I decided to start this opportunity. And to cut the long story short, I decided to start the business. And today I'm here. I never saw myself on this end, like being the person talking for other people to listen, whether presentations, training, or whatever. But this is something that came to me just because light came for me, just because I saw an opportunity and I placed a value on it and I submitted myself to the mentorship, the training, and all of that. Okay. And today I am here. So quickly, I'm just going to uh, show in practical terms what worked for me. Now, I followed the rules, like I said. When I came, I was a part-timer, full-time part-timer, in fact. I'll go to my office, do my office work, and then when I have a small window, I'll hide myself somewhere. I'll listen to maybe the tools that were sent to me, a training or something on invitation, because I knew that I didn't have much time. I didn't have much time in my hands to do the presentations or to even learn at the time. And I'm saying this because I know there are a lot of new people here. There are a lot of part-timers here. There are a lot of people who think that, oh, I don't have time, I can't do this and all of that. It is very simple. Okay. So I followed instructions. First of all, I was asked to write my name list. When they asked me to write, then when I came in, it was 35 name lists they were asking for. I wrote, I think, about 100 names because I just knew that I just needed to do it fast. Okay. I needed to succeed fast. I really needed to just, okay, prove that this thing was going to work. Okay. I was going to make it work. It wasn't about the uplines. It wasn't about the system. It wasn't about anything else. It was all about me. And I knew that if I don't do it, then it wouldn't happen. Okay, some of us need to make that decision. So I made a list of all the likely people I know, friends and family. We're talking about warm market here. Of course, we know that warm market are people that trust you, people that know you, people that care about you, people that are fond of you, people that maybe are in your space, people that you interact with. Warm market may not necessarily be friends and family. They may be acquaintances, people that you meet in your office, people that you meet maybe in church or places that you go to, social gatherings, but they know you and they trust you. Okay. So I started with that. I usually tell people start with your Judea. They say charity begins at home. Start with your Judea before you think of the ends of the earth. I don't dispute cold market. In fact, in our business, the ratio of your success, the higher part of it comes from cold market, okay? But that has to do with skills. But before you get to that, there are people around you that will help you foil the business. Okay. So I submitted myself to learn how to pitch the opportunity to them. Like I told you people before, when I came, I didn't know how to present. I didn't know, I just was good at getting people to the presentation. especially when I knew that Ambassador Ronke was going to present. You know, the moment she told me that she was presenting, I first of all called all the people I knew, all those people that I was scared of them asking me questions, people that I know are very successful in business or are very critical people. I just needed them to have interaction with her because I knew that she would be able to attend to them very well. Okay. Please, in my story, pick what you can pick from my story. Okay. So I was very good at filling up the hall, getting people to be in attendance. Okay. Of course, in one market prospecting, you have to learn to master making friends. It's like a second nature to me. Anytime I step out of my house, I must add a number to my list. I never run out, you know. So I was making more friends. I was, first of all, friendly. If you want to know how to make friends, if you want to be able to make friends, you must first of all be friendly. And then, of course, keep your acquaintances, interact with them, really genuinely care about people. Now, I'm going to use this to share a testimony. My training today is going to be filled with testimony stories because we have all the trainings. There are people that I met during this 90 days game plan that, because we were in a 90 days game plan, of course I made them my friends. I where I can help, I help. Genuinely, where I can help, I help. Sometimes God gives us opportunities to help people first, and then that's when we earn their trust and their commitment towards us. And a couple of them was, for instance, a parent in my daughter's school. I saw her with her kids on the road as I was driving out. Of course, she was going my way, and I drove her to where to she was I was supposed to drop her on the road on the way, but because of course she had a little boy in her hand and then there was a younger one, I just decided to go the whole 9 yards. I took her to her doorstep. So by the time I invited her for the presentation, she didn't reject, she didn't say no. Okay, she came in and she signed up instantly. There are people that they learn you from a distance first. They watch you, they learn you from a distance, and then they earn your trust. I hope that English is right. You get their trust from how you interact with them. That's just one example. I have a couple of friends that I had shown the business to, and I didn't fight with them. We're still very good friends. They refused to join my business. That's one market. Sometimes they take their time because of familiarity. But it is in your consistency, when they see your drive, your passion, they key into it. Another example, I have this friend that I've been showing this business to for 3 years. Every time we meet, you tell me, I cannot talk. This thing that you're doing, you are very confident. Your words you have steez. There's a way she says it in Hausa, that it means that I have lyrics. I don't know what Gen Zs call it now, or millennials. I don't know what they call it now, but it means steez. Like I know what to say per time. And she was talking to me about how her business is struggling and all of that. So I used the opportunity. Now, sometimes it is in their need that you pitch in the value that you have. So I just simply told her, so you need a backup plan now. I've been telling you about this business and we're running a 90 days game plan. This thing that you're afraid of, you even have an advantage because some of the people that will sign up will be likely used to support you, you know. After so much back and forth, in fact, even in that, I didn't still show her the business myself. I just sent her a video. I used tools, okay? Sent her a video to watch and asked her to come to the office. When she came to the office, I took her straight to the leader on ground, you know. Now, the thing with one market is when they're looking at you, they are remembering when you were struggling, when you ask them to join your business, they are seeing it as you are begging them to make money off them, you know. But once a third party or third party tool is involved, they're not looking at you. Eric Worre says that when you are the one showing everything, you're doing everything by yourself, it builds fear in them. They think, oh, this is what I will do. And because she had told me before that, oh, I can't do all these things you're doing, she has seen me talk to people, she has seen me present, she has seen me post stuff. I do short videos and post, all this I learned. And I told her all this I learned on this platform, but because she had projected her fears to me, I removed myself totally from the equation. I pointed to tools most of the time, okay? And of course, some of the people that I was able to get to see my opportunity were people that were my goons. They were very close to me. I knew that if I asked them to come, they would say, all these people seminars, all those things. So anytime there was big events, I would call them and ask them, I'm doing something where my company is doing something, some of my consultants are around, and I'll need your support. I'll need you to come and help me, maybe take attendance, or I'll say, come and just support me. Just show up. Or there were particular people. I remember one challenge that Ambassador gave one time when we were doing the HMO thing. And she said she was going to give a reward to the people that have the highest number of attendees. Now, what I told them was, my leaders are going to be having an event, and I'm supposed to have the highest number of attendees there. It doesn't matter whether you like what you see or not. Just show up so that I can get the reward. I used that to get them in the meeting. Now, did I want them to join the business? Of course. But I wanted them to see the value. What did I tell them? I said, just attend, pay attention, respond when they ask questions, when you need to interact or respond, make sure you respond. Now, what did I do? I used reverse psychology for them so that they won't just log in and go and be doing something else. I told them to respond, to be engaged, so that they will see the value. You see, so that they will see the value. And then, of course, I did it not in a too formal way. Now, also, another thing with a warm market is they don't want you. These are people that you have gone to Yahoo together. They saw you in your bathing suit. They don't want, that's all they see. When you come and start speaking English for them, reading from a script, we have an event, all those things. No, 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 no. There's a way that you can talk to them in your normal language. In fact, when we do brand launches, we tell people, speak to them when you're inviting people for your opportunity, speak to them in the language that you're used to communicating with, not too formal. Of course, we have the scripts are formal. We have different scripts that we use, but for warm market, you don't speak to them in a very formal way. And of course, I infused urgency because I didn't want them to start asking me, so what would you, how long, what would be required of me, all those things. I made sure that I told them it's going to be a 45 minutes to a 90 minutes meeting. You're going to just respond when they ask questions. And if you like what you see, make sure that you're selected. During the meeting, I was engaging them. I was, of course, in the meeting. There was hardly a meeting that I invited anybody that I didn't attend. In fact, if it was a physical meeting, an ambassador was presenting or any leader was presenting, I'll sit there first. If I saw that they were going to be distracted, if they were going to ask me questions, I would remove myself from there and try to be involved in maybe whatever the leader would need support, maybe sharing the interest forms, making sure that everything was set, just so that I won't be involved in that transaction at the time because I wasn't skilled enough. Okay, this is for people who are still learning this business, okay? But for those who are already leaders, you already know Of course, leaders already know what to do in scenarios like this. So how did I connect people? Every time there were events, I made sure that I got tickets. Now, sometimes we get scared of even buying tickets, of collecting these tickets. It's because of fear, or somehow for me it was just, I knew that those tickets had to go. If I bought the tickets, I just had to use them. Those tickets had to go. So I got tickets. Sometimes I'll call my friends, like the last event that we had. I called a couple of them. I said, I came and supported you during Kaduna buy and sell. Oh. I do that a lot. It's intentional. I told them, please confirm you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, beautiful. So I called some of them and said, see, I came and supported you during your trade fair. I have my own event now. Ticket is 10K. I am not giving you for 10K. You're getting the ticket for free. But if you don't come, you will pay me my 10K. With one market, you can do that. Okay? Sometimes hot market will tell you, all these things, one thing. Sometimes you have to blackmail your friends. There are people that, I'm sure some of us have had this experience. There are people that I signed up, that are people that have been chasing for years. That's why it's good to sow the seeds. I just blackmail them. I've been doing this business for years. Yesterday I called one of my uncles. you know I told him, when I lost my dad, he said that he's now my dad, that he has adopted me. I said, if it was my dad, he will support my business. So I've been chasing you for 4 years. Since I started this business, he was on my first list, and you still haven't supported my business. And I sent him that message that says, I have a target to recruit 20 people in the next 10 days, and I would need your support. Now, there are people that you can do that with, especially people that you respect, people that are, I won't say, you can even use it for your chicken list. Those people that you don't know how to pitch your business to, they are very successful people. You know that they don't even need the business. They're very involved in what they're already doing. You can pitch that to them. And I used that with a couple of people, and I got support. So you can also send the confirm message that says, we had a message that somebody posted on the 90 days game run. I used it, that talked about the 90 days game run. The goal is to work with selected partners or people that were recommended to us, to help them raise between 500K to 1 million. Now, this depends on the person you're talking to, is relative, because if you're talking to somebody who is earning a salary of 20K, you're not pitching 500K for them. They will not, their mind cannot take it. I don't want to assume that their mind can take it. So for the younger ones, for the people that I know, maybe their salary is within 70K or 50K, I tell them, we're doing this in the next 90 days. We're going to help people to raise between 250K to 500K. So would you like to come so that you enjoy the support? That message I sent to a couple of people, and I got some. Of course, some of them will just come in with one account, but you have a target in front of you. Okay. The evening meetings, I make sure that as long as I am going to be in a meeting, whether I'm presenting or not, I make sure that I come with at least 2 people. Yes, sometimes you get so busy that you don't remember, but there must be that one person or 2 people that you can say, will you join me? There's a meeting business opportunity I'm supposed to look at, and it's on Zoom. You can watch it from the comfort of your home. I'm required to come with one person. Will you come with me? I do that a lot. With one market, you can play around. You can pitch in your business when you have the window. Okay, take advantage of the meetings, and then of course third-party recommendations. Now, another thing that really worked for me was third-party recommendations. There were people that didn't want to do my business, or they just bought the products, and I tell them, okay, just give me a list of names. If it's a very busy person, I'll tell them just give me 10 names. I did something, I did a Google form, like a questionnaire thing, and I just sent it. I sent the link to the person, okay, to one of my friends, very busy person. I sent it to him and I told him to post it in his group. He's a road safety something something. So I just told him post it there. It's because he said he doesn't like all these sort of businesses and all of that. So I told him, don't worry, they will just read through the questions and respond. If they like it, they will respond. I will call them only based on their responses. And of course, I was able to get results from that. I had two people who came from that. I haven't even exhausted the calls yet from the responses. Okay, so there are people that you can use that. If they are too busy, you can even pick up their phones. I've had a situation where I just collected somebody's phone. I asked him, what group is this? Can you post this on this group? And I posted it. Of course, there were some groups that he didn't allow me to post, but with our friends, even those hot market, those friends of yours, your bestie that I mean doesn't want to do your business because she doesn't like pitching, she doesn't like selling, she sees it as selling market. They have refused to understand that we don't sell, we don't market, we don't do all those things. You can just tell them, okay, especially for this hydrogen bottle, okay, on last 2 weeks, I had an appointment to see somebody. When I got there, I called the person didn't pick. Apparently, the person wasn't even on ground. There was an emergency and all of that. So as I was coming back, I Holy Spirit just told me to call one doctor that I used to before I started using our family doctor. He was the doctor that I was seeing, so I had been trying to reach him for a while. So something just told me to call him, and he was around the area. Do you know that just because of the fact that I went out to go and see that person and I didn't meet the person, and I was saying, God, after burning my fuel, it's quite a distance. After burning my fuel, you just have to find a way to compensate me. I now called this guy, the doctor. When I got there, he was sitting with another person. He was totally not interested, but the person that he was with was very much interested. He now directed me to somebody. At the end of the day, to cut the long story short, he gave me the number of a general that I had been looking for like 5 years. He doesn't pick strange numbers, of course. I don't know how I lost his number. I couldn't reach him. I went to his office a couple of times. They wouldn't let me see him and all of that. But that day in that meeting, I was able to kill multiple birds with one stone. He gave me the general's number. By the time I called him the next day in the morning, he gave me an appointment. Do you know, instantly, this guy, after I showed him, in less than 30 minutes, I sold 2 bottles. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is you have to diversify. You have to, like, it's a game. We're playing a game. I tell people that this is an adventure. Our business is an adventure. Okay. It is in the doing that you get ideas, that you get, sometimes things will just happen in the course of the day, things will happen and it will lead you to something. But you have to be in the field. You have to be doing it. You have to be in the marketplace. Dr. Akabno will say you have to be in the bush, you have to enter markets. It is in the market that sometimes you see the opportunities, you meet people, you know. Like I told you before, it's a second nature for me to make friends, to collect numbers. Now, a lot of the people that I signed up during this 90 days game plan were people that I met on the go, you know, in the course of making friends, keeping friends, checking up on people genuinely, and all of that. There's somebody that came. The first time I met her was at my daughter's school. I heard her saying, I heard her name. So I asked her if she was from Jos. She said, yes, she's from Jos, Banting Wanting. We exchanged numbers. I'll check up on her. Sometimes I'll greet her in our Birom language, and the guards were down, you know. When one of the days I wanted to invite her for a meeting, she told me that her daughter was on admission. That night, after work, I drove straight to the hospital. She was shocked. She didn't expect that. Oh, this is somebody that I just met, you know. Yes, we started building rapport and all of that. But I went to see her daughter in the hospital. Of course, I bought fruits for them. It was small. I didn't even have money then, but the little I had, I sowed that seed. This was last year. Oh. This thing happened last year. But when we started this 90 days game plan, she had told me that all these things, because she asked me what I do and all of that, she told me that she did Alliance long ago, wanting stories, that all those stories, you know. But because of that seed that I sowed that time, when I invited her for our Amazon meeting that day, she told me that it was going to be very inconveniencing for her, but because of me, she will come, even if it is at the end of the meeting. She came when I was rounding up, but she made payment. She felt, will I say, indicted to me. I won't even, I don't even want to flatter myself and say because of, no, but I know that if I didn't do what I did that time, it would have been very convenient for her to give me an excuse not to come. Okay. So with One Market, is about relationship. Anytime you're pitching your business, you remember the relationship you have, how you met, and what are the strategies that I use. Of course, you approach One Market without any expectations. They always tell us that we should detach our emotions from the outcomes, right? You don't need to be needy. You don't need to sound thirsty. There are people that pee all over the place. Like, you just know that these people, you're thirsty. You're just trying to close down a sale. You don't, with One Market is not like Cold Market that you just meet somebody today, now, and you're inviting somebody to a meeting. Even though I have done that before, but I must have had a conversation with you and you tell me that I'm really looking for something to do, where to invest money and all of that. Then I would say I will recommend you to our opportunity. This is what we do. We help people start up businesses and projects like that. You know, only then, when I know that their need is opportunity, they're looking for an opportunity for business. But then, with people that have been in your space, people that are your friends, you have to build that relationship. You have to find a way, a window to pitch in your opportunity in a way that you don't sound desperate. Okay, prospects always sense desperation or neediness. Okay, don't assume they will refuse or agree. In fact, when we take name lists from people, we tell people, don't prejudge. Okay, you're writing down your contacts. Your contacts are your friends and family, people that you already have. Don't prejudge them. In fact, there are people that have joined my business that I was certain they were not going to do the business, but because they told me not to prejudge, I said, what's the worst that can happen? Shebi is no. They will say to me, this is not my thing. No. But I just pitched my business to them. There's somebody who bought the bottle recently. This guy only came to honor me. I invited him to see my opportunity. One of those times when Ambassador was presenting, I called him and told him that my mentors were having this business opportunity meeting. I would like for him to come and see how he can benefit from it and how he can um, encourage me as well. He came and did multiple accounts. Today he has 54 accounts. Why? Because two things. He came to honor me because every time he sent me, I was available to help him with his errands. And then, of course, he saw my passion. He doesn't like, in fact, that person is an SS. He doesn't, those people, they are very secretive people. They don't like, but because he saw my drive, my passion, my consistency, anything I tell him to do, he does. When he came in with 15 accounts. When bottle came, I told him to buy bottle. He bought bottle. You know, there are some of those One Market people that are just going to be there to fuel your business. They may not run the business. When people get scared, when people run away from us, is when they feel that you're going to you're going to trouble them with so much. They're going to have to do what you're doing. Even at that time, I didn't involve myself. He sat down in a presentation where Ambassador presented. When the presentation finished, he was asking me questions. I said, I'm not in the place to take your questions. I took him straight to Ambassador's office. Ambassador closed him down. He said he wasn't going to make payment. By the time I was standing there, of course, he just asked me, so what do you want me to do? I said, pay. I didn't say more than that. I said, pay. So he said, what should I pay? I told him, do the highest package. And he did. You know, there are people like that are willing to support us, okay? But you're not thirsty around them. Now, always use third-party tools, like I said. Always use with one market. You use third-party tools because Eric Worre says that when you talk too much, which leads me to my next point, when you talk too much, you are standing in the way. They are looking at you when you were borrowing money from them, probably when you were struggling with one challenge or the other. That's all they are seeing when you're talking. They're not listening to you. That is why sometimes, even with my friends that are very intelligent, you will tell them that in our business, we don't market, we don't convince, we don't do all of that. But when you finish talking, they will tell you, but I don't like marketing. I don't like selling. I just told you that you will not have to do that. You see, because you're the one talking, you're the one projecting things to them, they're not listening to you. Really, one market, those ones. I don't want to say they can be stubborn, no, but really, some of them will not listen to you. I still do three-way calls till today with my one market. Why? Because I want to remove myself. They're not signing up to you, even though they're signing up because of you, because they trust you, because they love you, because they want to support you. There's a system. If you point them to the system, some of them you can convert them to partners that will actually run the business if you point them to the system, the tools, okay? Of course, you invite them to general presentations. I noticed that with my friends, when I invite them to a presentation where I'm not the one presenting, maybe I just share my testimony, I get better results, okay? Because in their mind, they're thinking, but I've been with you now. When did all these things happen? You know, they they struggle to believe the growth process, to believe the results, because you people are together, they see you, see finish has entered. So I tend to prefer to invite them for general presentations, especially when my leaders are the ones presenting. You know, they share their testimony. Of course, mine is there. And sometimes I just use testimonies. I have this Amazon, I used to have a collection of Amazon testimonials. When I'm talking to younger people, I share Dominion Paul's testimony. When I'm talking to, in fact, even those videos Ambassador Ronke used to post, sometimes I share them and I tell them that this is the person that I gleaned from. Because when I came, I was proud, I would say. The pride was not the kind of pride that was boastful pride. It was pride of, like, this person is really young, but she has the results that I don't have. So I share the testimony and I tell them, this is the person that I gleaned from. I just saw her. I have Ambassador Ronke's before and after in my slide. Like, this was what I saw. And I thought that, okay, if this person can have this transformational story, I too can have it. If it's difficult for them to relate with that story, I use Imelda's story, the Ugu seller. Some of us need to collect stories in relating to one market. Collect enough stories. They say stories, facts tell, stories sell. Okay, use all the tools that you have in the business. And with one market, they don't want you to keep inviting them for the same event over and over again. You take them from exposure to exposure. Okay, there are people that just come to my office. Sometimes with my friends, when they want us to meet, I'll say, come to my office. I don't tell them to come to the office just because I want them to come to the office, just because I cannot go and meet, we cannot meet elsewhere. No. I tell them to come to the office. Why? Because I will take them to a leader. I'll take them to somebody. There's hardly anybody that ever came to the office that I didn't take them to Ambassador Ronke. First of all, they will see the office, the social proof. Okay, they will see the ambience, they will see the way she relates, to us, the way, it's not hard, it's not. There's Ambassador Ronke said her friend told her that, I can't remember the word she used, but it meant that it was difficult. It was for people that are that are very bold, that are confident, that are fighters. They'll be relaxed. When they come to the office and they see the work environment, sometimes we introduce each other, we play around, we tell them, this is my accountability partner. I used to do that with Biola too. Anytime my friends come to the office, we'll play. Sometimes I'll just hand them over to Biola, or I'll take them to Damian, any leader on ground. Sometimes when your friends want to see you, and you have an office space where you're grinding from, let them come to the office. Let them see what you do. Somebody came recently and asked me, so what do you guys really do here? Of course, everybody was making calls because of the 90 days game run. Some people were closing down. Some people were doing different activities. So I just took her around. I said, okay, this is our leader. This is this, you know. Now, when people come and see our opportunity, we take lists from them because a lot of them are very busy. Now, I was very deliberate with this person. Why? Because I knew that she's a teacher. She's very busy. She's like a proprietress. So she keeps telling me she doesn't have time and all of that. So I say, you see, some of these people are secretaries. When people come, they submit their contact list, and then those secretaries, the organization calls the people that were recommended by them, and then they come and see the opportunity. While they're busy doing their medicine, their surgeries and their bank work, the secretaries are calling their people to come and see the opportunity, and they're making leverage income. And she saw, oh, okay. Before she left that day, she gave me a list of 50 names. You see, she saw the possibility of what we do. She saw, she could relate. She saw how she too can benefit from it. Okay. And of course, I did that with her because I remembered how we met. My daughter's school. I meet a lot of people from, in fact, all the schools my daughter has passed through. I have signed up people from those schools. You know, remember how you met a prospect? I've met a prospect from a perfume stand, you know, and I told her that in my office we support each other. In my business we support each other. If you, with this your perfume business, when you bring it, if you have good products and you come, other people can buy as well. I signed up somebody who sells hair. you know the other day I posted her because I promised her I was going to. I bet you if I post your hair, at least you will get somebody. And truly, because I confessed it happened. My cousin went and bought hair from her because she saw her on my status. I didn't even know, until when she told me. So you remember how you met. You pitch in your business based on what you know about the person, what they do as well, to tailor make your business in a way that it will fit them. Of course, use that as an edge, relate with them, and be sensible. There are people, it was out of sensibility when that woman who told me her child was in the hospital. I went and saw her. I stayed with her the following day. I kept checking on them until they were discharged. I genuinely cared because, I mean, she's a mother, I'm a mother. If you're dealing with mothers, if you're dealing with people, their challenges, you pitch in your business when you have a window, not at an insensitive time. There are people who have joined my business because of products, like this general that just bought the bottle. uh, in fact, when one of the things that he said to me was that he takes, I saw him taking one drink like that. He told me that because he has BP issues. I said, no wonder God sent me to you, because I came to show you something that will help with that. you know. So I just pitched in that with because of our conversation, you must listen a lot. You must listen with the ears of a consultant, of somebody who wants to provide solutions. Now, with one market, they must see that you're not trying to make a sale off of them. You're not trying to just make money off of them. You're also giving them value. Okay? Like I said, the timing, the language. Don't use cheap, salesy language, like Eric Worre says. Prospects smell fear. If you're afraid, if you are showing them with fear just because you want to close that deal, they will know. Prospects know. In fact, there are people that I have told, I said, it's up to you. Me, I'm just showing you the value of our business. This is what Coledus does. This is what Complete does. This is what I just, when I know that they have health issues. But if you're registered in my business, you're going to get 25% discount. You will need to use these supplements for at least 3 months for you to get remarkable results. So if you're buying it for 3 months, why don't you just register? Even if it is with a portfolio, register so that you can get the products cheaper next time you're buying, rather than making me money, because I'll be happy to sell it to you, but it's cheaper for you if you buy it with your own ID. Okay? Of course, keep your goal in mind. Your goal is education and understanding. Your goal is not just to hit your 90 days game plan. Your goal is not just to make money. I realize that a lot of people struggle because what they're looking for is bread, not seed. People are just looking for what to eat now, now, now. I just want to make the 20K now, 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 now. You are not looking for the seed that will become a forest. If you are looking at the seed, if you consider that this person is a seed, this person's coming in is a seed, you're giving them value. And I tell people, you must know your worth. You must know the value of your opportunity. Because once the value of something is known, everything is possible. It is value that makes people find strategies. You yourself, you have to be your first customer. You have to know the value of what you have. When there was one thing Ambassador told me when this hydrogen bottle came. She told me, Vo, you cannot be selling a product you don't have. And truly, I couldn't sell a bottle because, oh well, I sold, but not what like I wanted. But my confidence increased because I bought my bottle. So anytime I go for a presentation, I'm carrying my bottle. I will demonstrate. I will tell them this is it. I drink from it. I will hydrogenate the water. I will drink from it. In fact, sometimes when people come to the office, I will tell them drink it. I will give them C247. There's a guy that came to the office last week, no, 2 weeks ago. I gave him C247. Now, he told me his issues. So I told him what he was pitching one account. I told him, no, with your problem, you have a big problem. So you must do a big account that will give you a big solution. So I told him, what you need is a bottle, but I can give you C247 if you make a commitment. That one was even closed down. It wasn't even my teammate. They just brought him to me to close down. And I told him, I can give you C247. It's not in your pack. That pack that you want to do is not in it. But if you buy the bottle, the person who recommended you may work out something for you that they will give you supplements that will go with this bottle and make your recovery process faster. By yesterday, he came and he was thanking me. He said, in fact, at a point I was tired because of the way he was praising me. It wasn't about me. I just pointed. I had the tools with me. They were handy. They were with me because I know the value. Once people know the value of something, everything is possible. When the value is projected, people are willing to take risk. This is somebody that had told me that I have to do borehole. We have water problems. We have this, we have that. And I told him, which one is more important to you? What's your priority, your health or the borehole? Do you want to sink a borehole and you're struggling with your health? Or he went and took the money that he was saving for borehole to buy bottle. Okay. Of course, like I said, it's not my teammate. I just helped out to close. But it's something I do with even my own people. Okay. And I mean, I tell people have an abundance mindset. I learned this from Ambassador. In fact, always my dad was somebody who always preached excellence. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. You know, that is why for me today, this training, I'm supposed to focus hammer on one market. I decided that I'm not going to do one serious training that I'll give scripts and all those things. No, we have all those things at our disposal, but we're not just using them. You see, and something Ambassador always says, or she even said it yesterday, there's a corporate anointing in this 90 days game plan. You know, to be honest, let me just confess to you people now. When this 90 days game plan started, I was still recovering from everything that I went through the latter part of last year. I lost my dad just before Christmas. You know, I was going through so much. In fact, a lot was going through me. And I didn't feel like I had the energy to run the 90 days game plan. I was slipping into, it was a phase, okay? But you see, because I know about this corporate anointing and I know the importance of obedience, I said that I was going to do it. Even if I was just going to fight, if I was just going to fight, whatever it is that I was going through, I just told myself that I was going to, because everybody else is doing it. Our leaders are doing the same thing. We're speaking the same language. The entire teams, all the teams in C21FG are preaching one thing. I said I was going to make an attempt. I was just going to push. And to be honest, it was a push. I psyched myself. I told myself that is why cell meetings are very important for people that miss cell meeting. Don't miss cell meeting. You don't even know where your liberation will come from, you know? And I just decided that I was going to come in and I was going to have an abundance mindset. I will come in with my, even though I have shown some of us, how many of us will say that we have exhausted our one market? We don't even have one market again. We don't cast, you know? When I came, I was fresh. People didn't know what I was doing, but now everybody knows what I'm doing. When I call some of my friends, if they don't pick because they know I'm calling them for an opportunity, you know. But I still told myself that I'm going to have this abundance mindset and I'm going to make friends. Every day, I'm going to make friends. My success is not going to depend on just these people. Okay. When you have an abundance mindset, God will give you more than what you see. That is why He says you should have a vision. Put your vision in front of you. It's a 90 days game run. You're supposed to recruit how many people? You know, put it in front of you. He cannot give you more than what you can see. That is why He took Abraham to a place and told him, as far as your eyes can see. I told myself that I'm going to do, in fact, even after this 90 days game run, I'm still going to be running until I achieve what I want because I have a vision in front of me. I had already taken a break for like 2 months, and now my break was not out of, it was out of what the situation I had, but then I had a vision that I was working on. And you know, I'll just tell you, this is a disclaimer: when you make that decision, it's going to be tested. It is the value that you have, the value that you know. It is that vision that keeps men. That is why you see that a lot of people, when they have a vision, they don't perish. They're not, even when attacks come, they're kept. Why? Because of that vision. And you know, the business we do is God's business. You know, it is vision. It is that vision that you have that will make you run. You consider time. You know, when Jesus was on earth, this is somebody that time doesn't go against. Oh. But he says, I have to go about my father's business. He recognized times and seasons. Ecclesiastes 3 says there's a time to plant, there's a time to reap, there's a time for everything. This is a time for planting and reaping. Now, there are some seeds that you don't sow that and reap instantly. Some of the people that joined my business were seeds that I planted long ago. I'm sure the people that have been in this business for a while will say that there are people that they showed the business long ago that they just joined now. Ambassador talked about some of her friends that just joined now. For somebody that has been in this business for donkey years, they're just joining now. Why? The seeds were sown. The scripture says that the farmer kept sowing. He knew that the birds would take some. He knew that some will fall on thorny ground. He knew that some will fall on rocky ground. But he also knew that some would germinate and become trees. So it is in the sowing. And what I'm going to leave us with today is just decide to be obedient to what we're doing now. It's collective. It's a collective grace that we're all enjoying. Somehow I feel that even the people that are responding to me positively now are responding because of the grace, the collective grace, because of my obedience to do this 90 days game plan, not because of my skill. Didn't I have the skill since that they rejected me? You know, obedience precedes blessings. That is why when we cry, Abraham's blessings are mine, and we're not willing to make the sacrifice, we're not willing to obey to the latter. Abraham obeyed to the latter to the point that he was willing to sacrifice his son. What are you willing to sacrifice? Ambassador Mike says that if you're not willing to sacrifice your ego, you know why some of us are not talking to our friends? Because of our ego. You don't want them to laugh at you. Rather than grinding your business, you want to go and join them to criticize the business. You're buying. If you don't have a vision, you're buying into their cheap criticisms that make you fall out. You know, where your obedience stops, that's where your blessings stop. If I didn't obey when the Holy Spirit told me, I went to do a presentation. No, I was disappointed in that at that place because the man was not there. But on my way back, God led me to somebody who in 30 minutes bought a bottle. Imagine if I said, oh, because I was calling the man, he didn't pick, I didn't go. I didn't burn my fire. It was a sacrifice I made, and that happened. And in talking about obedience, I'll just end with a story. Remember the widow of Zarephath? The prophet needed somebody to feed him. Imagine if that prophet didn't obey the instruction to go to that widow of Zarephath that was about to eat her last meal and die. First of all, there was obedience on the part of the prophet. He got up and went to that widow. Is it not insensitive for you to go to a widow to ask her for a meal? For somebody who doesn't have flour. He obeyed and went. And when he got there, he told the widow, what do you have? She said, all that I have is my last flour and a jar of oil that we will eat with my son and die. That was all she had. Or maybe all you have is your list, your contact list. Maybe all you have is your upline or your leader. Maybe I don't know what you think that you think your limitation is. You know, but the prophet told her that she should go and get more jars. She said she doesn't have more jars. He said, go and borrow. She had to make that sacrifice. She went and borrowed the jars. Do you know that by the time the prophet was done with her, he filled up all the jars? Do you know what I learned from that story? That means that even if she went to the entire city or her neighborhood to collect all their jars, they would have still been filled up. The God that you serve, the God of this project, the God of this 90 days game plan that we're running, is not limited. We're the ones that are limited. All the limitations are in your head. Whatever you think your challenge is, they're just in your head. If you can have an abundance mindset, see, I tell people, life will not give you what you desire. You can't sit down and will it and just wish it. Life will not give you what you desire. It will give you what you demand of it. Okay? I had to get up and go and demand. There are people that I told them, just make this payment. Yesterday, I told my uncle, I said, Uncle B, if you don't If you don't, just even if it is the students and corpus package, since you have refused to support my business, do the students and corpus. It got to that point that I had to demand, you know. So just decide to follow it. You may think that, oh, we're in the last phase. The game plan has almost elapsed. We're running out. Just decide that you're going to follow through. Do your bit and enjoy the grace and enjoy the abundance that is flowing. Okay, thank you so much. I hope we got value today. Thank you, Ambassador, for this opportunity. I hope we got value. Sorry, I took 5 more minutes. Over to you, hosts.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Wow, wow, wow. That was more than amazing. That was more than amazing. In fact, I'm so glad that I recorded this. I'm going to drop my kid in school. I was listening. That was amazing. Well done, well done, well done. And all I can say is let us go and take action. That's the truth. There's nothing more I can add to what she has said. Just one thing I wanted to say is that she sincerely cares about people. Okay, she's not just greeting people and visiting because of the business. Who has a sincere heart where she does care about people. And I remember when I was sick and she came, so she really cares about people. So we have to develop that and just go and do what she has said. Just go and do what she has said. Break that fear, break that limitation, and go and do it. You do not know. You cannot say, oh, the seeds will not germinate if you have not planted. Do you understand? You cannot say, oh, they will not join if you have not asked them to join. You cannot say, and guess what? There are a lot of people that are right now, they are so excited about our business. They are so happy. They're like, wow, Ronke, thank you so much. I'm learning so much. Hey, I wish I joined you. Say so. Hey, I wish I joined you. And they're so excited. So there are people like that there. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Madam T. That was beautiful. And we're going to go and, practice everything that you have said. Go to the comments and go and show love. Go to the comments and go and appreciate her. And like I always say, the best way to appreciate somebody for pouring out their hearts like this, the best way to appreciate them is by what? Taking action. That is the best way, by taking action. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Remember, we have today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sorry, Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, now it's just 2 days. We have Wednesday and Thursday to hit the goal for the first two parts of the meeting before we now launch out on Friday into the last part of the game plan. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.